Order. Speaking into the microphone.
One second.
No problem.
Sorry.
No worries.
Sorry, bear with me. Okay.
You'll be fine. I'll just tap on the table. Fire department's not here either.
Sorry.
Yeah, or PD.
They're class 1 too. I couldn't believe that.
We just bragged about them last week.
That's a hot mic. They're class 1.
Sorry, one sec.
No problem.
There we go.
They may dial in.
Okay. May I use the gavel? Great. I'd like to call this meeting to order. Officer Lostrom, may I please get a roll call?
Roll call. Commissioner Carmichael.
Present.
Commissioner Gupta is absent for right now. Chair Gall.
Here.
Commissioner Kleinbaum is absent. Commissioner Escontrias
Present.
and Commissioner Skiba.
Present.
Great.
Roll call complete.
Wonderful. Let's salute the flag. Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag, United States of America, and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Great. We'll go over to section D, approve the order of agenda. Oops. I have a motion for that.
Motion to approve.
Thank you, Commissioner Carmichael. Second.
I second it.
Thank you, Commissioner Skiba.
All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
So approved. Was there any nays? Sorry, I didn't hear a nay. Okay.
No horses here.
So approved.
Great. All right.
Proceed, Chair.
Officer Lostrom, no blue folder items, so we can go right to F.
Yes.
We need an approval of the consent calendar
Yes.
or affidavit of posting. I'll skip the boilerplate. Do I hear a motion for approval of the affidavit of posting?
Motion to approve the affidavit of posting.
Recorded by Commissioner Carmichael, so moved. And any other second?
I second the motion.
Commissioner Skiba seconds. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Great, thanks.
So approved.
Do we have, Officer Lostrom, any excluded consent calendar items?
No excluded consent calendar items.
Great.
And you could proceed to H.
H, public participation on non-agenda items. No one is here.
No requests. One second.
No problem.
No Zoom attendees. Kind of getting H and H1. There's no e-comments here or emails received.
Great. Items continued from previous agendas.
None.
There are
Could
none.
proceed to discussion items.
Great. Let's go to any recent fire events.
A representative from the fire department is not here. So you can proceed to J2.
All right. And J2 in the prosecutor's office, nothing happening.
Joy Ford will not be here either. She was unavailable.
Great.
So you can proceed straight to J3.
Discussion of crime recap, community policing volunteers. All right, we're prepared.
Okay. So I've covered many referrals to staff that I have on my list. In addition to the crime recap that you see, one thing I would like to cover is a certain incident or two over a couple day period at Redondo Union High School.
Yeah.
It's actively an investigation, and juveniles involved are legally entitled to more privacy than your average. However, the police department and the school prepared a statement. I'd be happy to read that statement if anyone had not seen or heard it. This is a joint statement from the Redondo Beach Police Department and Redondo Beach Unified School District. Press release on December 5th, 2023. And it goes as follows. Yesterday, on December 4th, 2023, a press release was issued by the Redondo Beach Police Department concerning the arrest of a 15-year-old 10th grade student and the recovery of a loaded firearm in their possession. No one was injured during that incident, and the juvenile suspect was transferred to a regional juvenile detention facility. This case is still being prepared by Redondo Beach investigators for forwarding to the Los Angeles County Probation Department for consideration of filing charges. Today, on December 5th, at approximately 9:23 a.m., the Redondo Beach Police Department received a report of a student in possession of a weapon on the Redondo Union High School campus. The student fled on foot from school staff, prompting a campus lockdown, but was located and safely detained by a school employee and 2 Redondo Beach police officers who were on the campus at the time of this incident. The investigation of the incident today has revealed that a 15-year-old 10th grade student, different student from the previous incident, was in possession of a loaded firearm on campus. During the initial response, inaccurate information circulated that a shooting had occurred. No discharge of any firearms occurred, and there are no reported injuries of any kind. Redondo Beach police officers were already on the campus maintaining an increased presence due to the incident the previous day, resulting in the ability of police officers to immediately contact and safely detain the juvenile suspect. Through a coordinated effort, a thorough search of the campus confirmed that a shooting had not occurred. No one had been injured, and there was no other suspects outstanding. No evidence of a specific threat or plan for violence has been discovered from the incident and arrest today. The investigation concerning any indication that this incident may be related to the arrest the previous day, the source of the firearm, and other matters related to this incident are part of an ongoing investigation by the Redondo Beach Police Department. Pursuant to Section 602 of the California Welfare and Institutions Code, the student was arrested and transported to the Redondo Beach Police Department for violations of 29610 subsection A of the Penal Code, juvenile in possession of a firearm, 626.9 subsection B of the Penal Code, possession of a firearm on school grounds, 32310 subsection A of the Penal Code, possession of a high-capacity magazine, 25850 subsection A, PC, carrying a loaded firearm in public, and 25850 subsection C, subsection 6, possession of an unregistered loaded firearm. As with the previous case, this will be prepared by investigators and forwarded to the Los Angeles County Probation Department for consideration of filing charges. Anyone with information regarding this incident is encouraged to contact the Redondo Beach Police Department at 310-379-2477, via text 310-339-2362, or anonymously at crimetips@redondo.org. If you see something, say something. The Redondo Beach Police Department maintains a close working relationship with the Redondo Beach Unified School District and will coordinate on matters related to the future status of the arrested student. As part of our continued partnership with Redondo Beach Unified School District, the below message prepared by Redondo Beach Unified School District has been incorporated into this press release joint statement to facilitate the consistent distribution of information to everyone in our community. Dear RUHS staff and parent community, our student staff in Redondo Beach Police Department are dealing with an unprecedented situation, and I want to thank everyone for their cooperation and patience as we work to ensure the safety of our high school campus. We have all been working to ensure continued safety and communication with our RUHS family. Here are the facts as we know them at 1:30 p.m. on Tuesday afternoon. That would be the 5th. At approximately 9:23 a.m. today, RUHS went on lockdown status due to the report of a student on campus with a firearm, and RBPD was immediately notified. The student was then apprehended by RBPD. After detaining the student, RBPD recovered a loaded firearm. Given the previous day's incident, the RUHS administration, in conjunction with RBPD, conducted a safety sweep of the campus. Once the entire campus was swept and deemed safe by RBPD, the lockdown was lifted at 10:03 a.m. RBPD will remain on campus for the remainder of the day, and we'll be meeting with staff and students to gather information that will guide our next steps. Due to these two incidents, school at RUHS will be closed to students tomorrow. School will resume on Thursday, December 7th. Purpose of having campus free of students and staff tomorrow is to provide optimal conditions for our district team and RBPD to work together to conduct a comprehensive review of our safety measures and implement strategies to amplify this important work. Here are some of the measures that we put into place effective December 7th and until the winter break. RBPD will conduct a canine weapons and explosive sweep of the school while it is closed tomorrow. When school resumes, there will be three entry and exit points only. RBPD police officers and school administrators will be present at each entry point. The school resource officers will remain on campus all day. There will be increased police patrols focusing on RUHS, but including all campuses. We will hold an online meeting at 8:30 a.m. tomorrow morning for the school community. We will discuss the two recent incidents, safety protocols at RUHS moving forward. Another email will be sent this evening with more information regarding this meeting. We understand that many parents attempted to check out their student from school early after the lockdown. We also understand the frustration with that process. We will always follow protocols when releasing students, despite how long it takes. We appreciate your patience with the process, which is in place to ensure we release students safely and properly. The two back-to-back incidents are something we would have never imagined. We are going to need to work together to solve the issue of access to guns. Understandably, our school community will demand and expect RBUSD to ensure student safety each and every day. Pointing fingers and placing blame is not the solution. Having a dialogue about how we effectively monitor social media, continue to report concerns in a timely manner, and intervene when students appear to be in distress is something we all must do. All of us, parents, staff, and students. We will continue this conversation, and I hope it can be a productive one, as this is a community issue. RBUSD and RBPD are committed to working with our families to provide whatever is necessary to keep this from happening again. The reality is it can happen again, so we must work together. Please look for further communication regarding the online meeting tomorrow. This joint statement was prepared in partnership by RUHS Administration, RBUSD Superintendent Dr. Nicole Wesley, Redondo Beach Police Department Captain Jeffrey Mendence, and Chief of Police Joe Hoffman. That is all that is currently able to be released by the police department, as everything is still continuous and active. Some things I have for you from our list on things related to referrals to staff. E-bike update. So I have some information from the e-bike update presentation that was actually prepared for City Council at their December 6th meeting. So you can refer to that meeting for better information, but I have some of it here to give you. The Redondo Beach Police Department's efforts regarding e-bike education and enforcement, the discussion of e-bike task force or public meeting backgrounds and makeups, and Assembly Bill 530, which deals with e-bikes. RBPD e-bike education and enforcement is included in the past year. Sorry, this includes all these things. Starts with, in the past year, the Redondo Beach Police Department has had an extensive education and enforcement effort focusing on unlawful e-bike riding. Those efforts include the following: community engagement. We had 2 community meetings, one at each, a park at each end of the city, about e-bike safety and the e-bike topic as a whole. Attended City Council district meetings. That would be the meetings held by City Council, sitting City Council members. Typically, they do that once a month in their district. And things like Coffee with a Cop, which include discussion on e-bikes and safety. And to outreach in general during those community engagement type events.
Officer Lostrom?
Yes.
We have a visitor in the back. Just noting
You're not allowed.
behavior back there.
Some skeptical. Okay.
Thank
There's
you.
like a baby carriage thing over there with a whole bunch of stuff in it.
Got it.
And she's been in the restroom.
Gosh, I felt like I looked over there
Looking
5
around the corner.
times
Yes,
thinking I heard something.
You did.
you did.
You did.
Okay. Okay. Copy that. Thank you.
Thank you. Please continue.
There is a panic button somewhere over there.
We're all like
And
paying
myself,
attention.
obviously, I'm happy to help.
Yeah.
Copy that. the city council meeting presentation. There was one previously done earlier in the year, and then today. The more recent meeting on December 6th, I believe. Social media outreach. Tons of social media educational outreach, flyers, informational flyers typically dealing with common violations, things like that. Videos where a particular officer was willing to self-deprecate for the greater mission of entertaining and educating. A video that was shared hundreds and hundreds of times.
Which one was that?
There's a particular video with an officer that works at the Redondo Beach Police Department where he identifies the differences between an e-bicycle that's lawful to be used on the road and the electric dirt bikes / motorcycles that are being ridden that are not street legal, which was a common problem roped in with e-bikes because they are two-wheeled conveyances.
Yes.
And electric. That would be like your Surons. We created an educational safety video. And the signboards have been up all over the city in different locations. Multiple legitimate traffic and warning citations. And the Office of Traffic Safety grant, which the police department takes advantage of,
Good.
which specifically focuses on bicycle and pedestrian enforcement. There is a, oops. There we go. Sorry about that. 2, 3. In regards to the potential creation of a task force, I'm sorry, maybe I did this backwards. Oh, no, I got it. Okay. Background of the task force. There's an increase in popularity, obviously, of these conveyances. Makes bike riding a little more fun.
Yeah.
An increase in safety-related incidents. I think we all know what we're talking about there. That would be your reckless riding, crashes, and so on. There was consideration of creating a task force. There was multiple avenues of seeking public input. Obviously, all the issues need to be analyzed from every angle and recommendations provided, not just enforcement, but many other things, like I've mentioned, as well as infrastructure, and encouraging the responsible use of this increasingly prevalent mode of transportation. Potential task force makeup would be city manager's office, the city attorney's office, community development, which would be for implementing planning and building safety designs that could lead to safer riding, more so in your infrastructure realm. Local businesses, obviously input from them on what they see and what the issues they experience are. Education, community engagement from our community services department. The police department would also engage in community engagement, education, and obviously enforcement. The fire department, education, community engagement, especially on the safety side, injury prevention. Public Works recommend, develop, and implement safety designs for public facilities, again, with your infrastructure. The Waterfront and Economic Development department, because that is obviously a high traffic area by bicycles, is our pier and bike path and so on, which they cover a lot of. And again, develop and implement safety designs and education. The Redondo Beach Unified School District, education, outreach, and they implement some of their own infrastructure and rules as well. Beach Cities Health District, education and outreach, and input from the community from our Redondo Beach residents. As I mentioned before, Assembly Bill 530, there's been consideration for a letter of support. AB 530 aims to amend sections 21213 of the California Vehicle Code, which governs the use of electric bicycles. The passage of AB 530 would add age restrictions and a licensing program. And AB 530 would also allow for the forming of a stakeholder working group to have ongoing discussions.
Those state laws that are being proposed?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah, that
thank
would
you.
be, an assembly bill that would,
Yeah,
hasn't been passed yet, but would be on the floor.
okay.
Recommendations from the police department would be continue education enforcement efforts, promoting safe operation, direct the city to create the e-bikes task force, or publicize and host public meetings seeking stakeholder input, which I think is what they ended up leaning towards, and improve and authorize a letter of support for Assembly Bill 530. And that, I don't know, that is also under consideration by city council as well. And again, that was I can refer you to the December 6th meeting.
Okay.
If I'm wrong about that, I'll send you guys an email, but it's literally within the last 2 weeks. Next, city website. They're aiming for January 24.
Okay.
So they attempted a soft launch and thought they were going to get it by the end of this year. January 24 is the new,
On stage.
yes.
And a
I have
demo.
more. Recruitment funding.
And a demo.
When the time comes, obviously, yes, there can be time for that. I don't have access to it yet. They haven't released it out to anybody, but when they launch it, yeah, that's not a problem. So there was a request and referrals for staff for 23-24 recruitment funding. And I got all the down low on recruitment funding, which I believe came to Commissioner Carmichael's attention in the recommendations to the city manager's office on proposed fiscal year budget items for the police department or for public safety in general. Let me locate that for you because I wrote it all down. The only thing in the 2023-2024 fiscal year budget for recruitment was funds for social media. However, the previous year, there was already a substantial increase in recruitment budget, including outside contract for backgrounds to improve our ability to complete and process backgrounds. There was a DOJ grant, JAG grant authorized by council for the 22-23 fiscal year. That'd be the Justice Assistance Grant. Used for recruitment in 22-23 fiscal year. And then lastly, somewhat pertaining to recruitment was at the beginning of this last year, the Police Officers Association and the city agreed on an MOU that included a 12% raise over 3 years, as well as an increase in medical plan money or a premium for medical insurance.
Oh, nice.
So that would be so for this year, the social media funding came into play, but most of the funding was last fiscal year. So as it relates to the recommendations made by the Public Safety Commission in that meeting, that's what came through for this year. Update on the police firing range. Told you I know a lot of things this month. The range is still listed in the capital improvement project. A portion of the funding for construction was removed during the 23-24 budget process. Funding still remains in the 23-24 budget for the design and study phase, which includes $300,000 as reflected in the capital improvement document that they prepared. For the current fiscal year, which is being coordinated by Public Works, and then I think they aim to allocate the funds for construction of the new range in the 24 25 fiscal year, which would be much larger than that. I don't know how much though. So of those things,
Excuse me, can I ask a question on the range?
give me 1 second. Of those things, so the remaining items I still have is officer wellness and arranging a presentation by Harbor Interfaith. And I'll probably go with another member of this department for officer wellness because there's somebody that knows all about the grant we received for wellness and
Great.
he's heading up our wellness program. And then the community, if you look at the community services unit, the community policing memorandum slows down a little bit in the holidays, but not so much that you guys can't jump in on some stuff. Let It Snow Redondo was a huge hit, 40 tons of snow in Seaside Lagoon. We had about 2,300 people come and enjoy our event.
Yeah.
We graduated Citizens Police Academy class number 48
I meant to go to that.
right here on December 8th.
I did mean to go.
The next class begins February 7th. All you gotta do is send me an email if you wanna go. St. Catherine's Greek Orthodox Church did a toy drive for Erica Gonzalez and our domestic violence victim advocacy program. Homeless Court returned to Redondo Beach on December 13th. I don't know if any of you got a chance to attend. And we did Career Day at Alta Vista Elementary on December 14th. Upcoming, CSO Sharon Rose and our new facility, K9 Cadbury, will be doing a story time on December 20th at 11:30 in the North Library. We will be at the Redondo Community Services Unit, will be at the Redondo Farmers Market, December 21st, from about 8 to 11. That's at Vets Park. Blood Drive, please sign up for the Blood Drive. I set a record last year and won an award, so I'm looking to top that this year. And then I've finally made official the community safety seminar Run, Hide, Fight that will be taking place on January 6th at 10 a.m. at the Redondo Beach Performing Arts Center. It's been up on our social media, the newsletter, South Bay Alert and everything. Please RSVP if you're gonna go, highly recommend. That's open to the community. There's 1,400 seats in the Performing Arts Center, so hopefully we can get a sold out crowd. And Citizens Police Academy Class 49 commences February 7th, as we discussed. If you'd like to attend, email me. And lastly, the Volunteers in Policing Report. November had 298 hours of service. Year to date, almost 3,400 hours. There's a cool thing, and I'm just going to shout out Citizens Academy one more time. There's a cool thing in our VIP presentation in the Citizens Academy where you get to see exactly how many dollars that saves the city. And they did some radio training for the VIPs. Any questions on item J3?
Go ahead, Commissioner Escontrias.
How often are you required, or the department policy on qualification?
What do you mean?
When do you qualify every other month, every 6 months with your duty weapon?
Shooting. Yes, there's a monthly qualification.
Every month?
Correct.
Okay, do you use a force option simulator at all?
Yes.
Okay, so the differentiating between a force option simulator and a physical shooting of actual real bullets, how many, is it 1 month or 2 months within the cycle, within the year?
I don't know exactly. I don't know if it's once a year or twice a year, but typically they incorporate, they'll put out a schedule of 6 months and they'll usually incorporate 1 day of
When they have
the
FOSS?
firearms training simulator,
Right.
FATS we call it.
FOSS, it was fast FOSS, okay.
That's what we call it, FATS, firearms training simulator. And then also the qualifications for shooting are incorporated in our department-wide quarterly training also, where we
Okay.
typically spend a day at Lopez Canyon
Right.
and do rifle training and shotgun and several other things that,
Okay, well, what I'm trying to get at is, are you required, through department policy, to qualify on a monthly basis, with your handgun, rather, the duty weapon, other than shotgun or long rifle, on a monthly basis, quarterly basis, every other month? I'm just kind of curious as to how that's
Monthly,
monthly, every month?
yes.
Okay. So ideally, possibly up to 10 times a year, for a fiscal year, with then maybe a shotgun or long rifle tossed in during a training session as well?
Correct.
And then a FOSS?
That's safe to say,
Okay, so the ballpark that we're looking at.
yes.
Okay. All right, thank you.
I had a couple questions. Was there a kind of a copycat gun seizure at El Segundo High School? Did I hear something about that as well?
I do recall hearing something in the news about an incident at El Segundo High School.
Yeah,
I don't know much about it.
yep,
And
understood.
couldn't tell you if it's related.
Wow. And then did dispatch and the jailers also get a pay increase?
I don't know. I believe
No.
Still
there
negotiating.
was a recent contract agreement made between the unions that cover that and the city. I don't
Great.
know the details of that contract,
Great.
but I believe it's public information. It's not
It was
a
at the last
secret.
meeting. It was
Yeah.
at the meeting.
Great. Not looking forward to meet the jailers, but I'm sure they do a good job, and I love dispatch. I wish everybody well, and, it's tough out there with inflation. Do any other commissioners have any questions they'd like to ask related to the report that Officer Lostrom provided?
If I may.
You may, sir.
Thanks for the update. Really appreciate it. It was very comprehensive. I was quite pleased, so appreciate it. With respect to, hold on. The wellness, some part of my brain thinks that goes hand in hand or could potentially go hand in hand with the benefits increase as a part of the MOU. So it sounds, right? It sounds like there could be more
Sure. Yeah.
items offered because folks could potentially afford it. So I'm curious, and please tell me if this is out of scope, but I'm curious as to what the current product offerings are, and then what is sort of the thinking behind the increase. What was it sort of meant to go to?
You know what?
I'll give you
He
a-
coughed right at the, can you just restate that?
I'll give you
I thought I'd be able to extrapolate still, but.
No problem. Because I have my HR hat on, so let me sort of take it off.
Sounds like a Captain Fazula question. Yeah.
So I'll give you an experiential scenario. So for what I heard was, as part of the sort of negotiations from a contract perspective, there was the city pays $10 towards your medical, right? So it sounds like there was an increase to say 15. So I'm curious, what was the thinking, or what was that additional 5, just, scenario meant to cover? Because when I think about what we're talking about wellness and mental health, there's some, if you will, .com entities that do this. And so I was curious, what was that sort of increase meant to cover? And from a mental health perspective, is mental health covered under the wellness umbrella, or is it a separate? So it's kind of.
So I would say it's kind of separate, because I think department wellness is aimed at things being provided by the department to police officers specifically because they are police officers, things like that. So when it comes to our MOU, and I sit on our association board, when it comes to our MOU, obviously city employees of the city, including police officers, are offered health insurance through their employment, and at a cost. And then depending on what plan you select and how much insurance you want, yourself plus a spouse, yourself plus
Spouse and
plus
children.
2 and beyond. You get a premium, you get a benefit from the city in the amount of for the sake of making this really easy, $10. But the increase, so every year since, you started buying health insurance when you got hired, years and years and years, they increased the cost. The insurance companies increased their costs, their monthly costs. So even with the premium, some employees aren't out of pocket because the single coverage is, the premium I think is $1,650 right now. And then whatever plan they chose is under that. And the remainder is a wash now from previous negotiations prior.
Okay.
But, so if someone is, employee plus two, spouse and kids and so on, the cost of whatever insurance plan they want is such and such amount. Getting an increase in the premium offsets that cost. Sometimes it's covered, sometimes you're this way, but if you get that increase, you're just coming less out of pocket. So it's not a raise because it's not. It's a raise.
No, I get it.
Essentially, it's a raise,
Right, yeah.
but it's not PERSable, so it doesn't apply to your retirement benefit salary and PERS. But it offsets costs and puts money in your pocket, so it's beneficial for us in that sense. But you can also opt, and then whatever insurance plan you get obviously comes with those benefits, those services, et cetera, and whatever you choose to use. As an example, an officer could be like, oh, I get 12 therapy sessions a year for, a $10 copay pay, or chiropractic, or whatever the case may be. And they can utilize their private insurance as they see fit. And then you can also opt out though, and just receive a smaller benefit from the city, for opting out. Some people that are on their spouse's insurance or whatever the case may be, typically is the situation there. So as it pertains to wellness, money in the pockets is nice, obviously, but more so the department wellness programs are more aimed at providing additional things on top of, the city insures you as an employee, or offers you private insurance as an employee. But now the department has, so one of the things that they've considered is some Pilates instruction, some personal training exercise classes, things like that would, encourage officers to work out and ease the access of something like that. So in this case, a trainer coming to the department and putting on a class a few times a week now improves our access to exercise.
Okay. And
we participate and we're like, cool, we've exercised, we feel better. And along with a number of other things that would likely be covered by that presentation I aim to arrange.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Yes, I do.
Go ahead.
Okay, with regard to the school shooting, or the school two episodes, are they able to say yet, or are they still keeping it sort of on the down low? Was it an incident of brandishing or displaying?
Can't say.
Can't say yet. Okay. And as for the firing range, are they planning to keep it in the same location?
Sorry, hold on 1 second. They were not arrested for brandishing a weapon.
Okay.
That doesn't mean that the current charges sit as they sit. That doesn't mean that additional investigation wouldn't reveal something additional.
Okay.
But we just can't know what that is until after everything's done and adjudicated.
Sure.
And it's even more so in this case because they're juveniles and
Right.
they're far more protected in that sense.
Yes.
You okay? Okay, just making sure.
Great.
And also, the firing range, which
Yes.
they're planning to renovate, are they planning to keep it in the same location?
Yes, as far as I understand.
Okay, thank you.
I had a question.
Yes.
So a few months ago, we had a representative of the state of California talk about grants for school safety. And I'm wondering if the scope of what they cover in that grant would help with our social media monitoring campaign. And therefore, I would make as an RTS to have that grant looked at again and see if we can make an improvement for our city and utilize any and all resources, even if we have class one, top funded, take every avenue, every cutting edge offering out there and see if it can work.
One thing that we do like to point out that's not private is, number one, what's nice about where we're at is everything as far as things being in place to prevent
Yeah.
or intercede and things like that kind of occurred how it's supposed to. The anonymous reporting system
Yeah,
that is used by the students for
it's
things like
used.
this
good.
is used very often.
great.
And they look at every single thing that comes through. That is actually a police department budget item
Good.
that's provided to the school for things such as this, were this to happen.
Great, understood. I would just, I guess as kind of an action item I would take is to just check with the state and to show them the latest news in the meeting and to say, hey, is there anything we're missing? And say, sure, it's this, this, and this. And maybe we can propose a meeting in the spring sometime where either we get their feedback and report it, or just go ahead and bring them back and say, well, you could have done this, this is why, this is what we're offering. But I feel that your management team handled the situation very well. And I think that previous planning was pretty darn good.
As an advisory committee, you could make a recommendation to city council to, sorry, this is something new I learned, to
God.
look into something like that.
Yes,
And
sir.
I can help prepare that, were that to be something. But
it
I would
okay?
I would definitely speak to them on, like on a sidebar, just to see what's already going on and attend any meetings that they're having in regards to the topic. But yeah, like as an advisory committee, that can be like a recommendation that's made to them to look into additional state funding for school safety, so on and so forth.
Great. And maybe for a school district meeting as well. Probably something to do second or third week of January.
And the school safety task force, they provide information to the school district meetings also, which occur every other Tuesday.
Great.
Don't quote me.
That's okay.
Tuesdays, some format of Tuesdays, there are school district meetings regularly, which includes the school safety task force. So I definitely recommend also attending that, because that has a plethora of information and resource to see the things that are in place and done. And typically there's fire and police representatives on the school safety task force.
Great. I will
Loud.
discuss with you second week of January, and we'll go from there. Do any other commissioners have any comments or questions? Yeah. Okay.
Actually, I just have one question.
Yes, sir.
With what you two just discussed, is that a RTS, in which case we need to motion for you to take that as an action, or is that something you're just volunteering?
No, there would be some discussion amongst yourselves. And I can.
I want to make a
You
motion.
can refer it to staff for me to see, because I know there's information I can prepare for you that is forwarded to city council. I'm still getting on the, on the up and up. I'm still getting on the up and up on how that's done.
Cool.
But I think I'm like right there, and I can guide you in the right
Ride
direction.
the wave
for-
together.
Been doing a lot of reading. And the city clerk's office had some training for the liaisons. So,
Congratulations. Appreciate it. You got a good.
and we can take a call on the side too, and I can.
Cool. Can we form a subcommittee or an ad hoc subcommittee for,
If the commission wishes.
and by the way, RTS is trademark patent pending.
Yeah.
It might be something you'd want to wait for a full attendance on
I'd laugh,
also.
I'd start. Motion to form a subcommittee.
Chair, sorry.
Yes, sir.
It might be a better idea to wait till there's a fully attended meeting to form a subcommittee also, which
Oh,
that would just
with
be my
different staff?
recommendation. Just with all the staff present and every commissioner present also.
Every commissioner present. I think we can table that subcommittee probably looking for February, and we have time to discuss these types of things over that time and make it an effective proposal to city council. Sounds good. Any other commissioners want a have any other questions
Is it related to J3 or is that?
related to J3 at this time?
Oops.
Okay. Go ahead.
I
You
was-
can
I was
proceed.
wondering-
Oh, sorry, are we, my bad. Go, carry on.
I was wondering, has there been any more discussion on the possibility of a self-defense class for women and/or seniors?
There has been some consideration, and it would take, there was one department member that was actively made a request some time ago, who has the expertise to organize and arrange something like that. I myself do not, outside of our normal defensive tactics training, and I'm talking about one of our force instructors was arranging that. The request was not taken at that time, I think because there was some movement in the department and promotion and a retirement, but
Oh, yeah.
I'll bring it to the attention of the community services unit as a potential idea again, and I'll see if there's any interest by administration to arrange something like that. I know that there was concerns with certain liability aspects, but it's been done, so it's not out of the question in general. Just whether or not we would take on something like that is TBD.
Because I know they're going to be having one in El Segundo, but I was hoping we could have one here.
Right, yeah. I'm not sure if they'll go for it or not, but I'll bring it up to them. It would just take somebody with a particular set of expertise to really run with the program.
Okay, thank you.
El Segundo has no end to capacity. Go ahead with questions, Commissioner Escontrias. You have a question?
Yeah, and I think it may pertain to this section. Concerning the Part 1 recap that we receive, is there any way of understanding, getting any Part 2 crimes that occur?
Ooh, I don't know. I will find out.
You talk to your CAD unit to be able to do that? And if so, as well as they could talk to them about mapping it, seeing if there's any type of clusters that may be a concern?
Yes, and just for informational purposes, on the website, under our crime stats section, all that information is readily available.
Only Part 1?
I'm more so mapping
Okay,
and
but-
trends and
But the
so
Part
on.
1 are the only ones, not the Part 2?
It's primarily, you'll find part 1.
Right.
I don't know about part 2 on that segment of the website, but I'll ask and find out. I'll send you an email, perhaps.
In addition to that, is there any possibility of understanding the disposition of these particular crimes? Whether they were filed or not?
Sheesh. Yeah, I mean, I'll look into it. See what it would take to find something out like that. See if that's feasible.
See what stage they're in, see if they've been closed out.
Well, my concern, not necessarily what stage they're in, because I understand that it will go along, but I think if it is, say, for example, presented for filing and then received a filing, or if it was a reject,
Yeah, it would just be
think-
preparing the information, like how labor intensive it would be, I think. If
Right,
it's
and I think
it's
that
not
kinda
so,
goes-
then wouldn't be hard to do, or if it is, I don't know. I'd have to ask her. If she was like, oh, that's gonna take me 17 weeks.
right, and obviously,
Go through
I
every
do understand
part
is
one.
that, for example, a case could get, because the type of case it is, may take some time before it's actually closed out, either cleared by arrest or cleared by,
Right.
okay, under the clearance, okay? But I think at times when it's presented for consideration either to the city attorney or the district attorney to determine the, generally the filing policies, or whether whether or not it's rejected or not. And that kind of determines if there's an issue with the DA's office.
Well, they do have their own set of guidelines on top of.
understand that.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is that if it's a rejected, if it's something that should concern us as a community, that here an officer's doing all this time to work on it and goes up to the DA and it gets rejected for for whatever reason.
Fortunately, all too common.
Yes, very much so.
How about the one that was the murder over on near the Dixon? That doesn't sound good.
Where did that come from?
From.
Oh, this is an exit.
Way
So
too
it's-
close is my
It's
response.
one of them out there probably.
Some guy just went by there with a green bike.
They filed.
They filed with that
Yes.
shooting? Okay. And then how about any catalytic converter arrests or anything?
That I don't know.
That's kind of dropped off. I've
Accessible
noticed. Yeah.
on that redondo.org/crime.
Okay.
You'd be able to access that, and it would specifically address those common things like catalytic converter.
Yeah, I've kind of noticed a downtrend on that, or I'm not noticing the number of issues we have with that. Are there any other questions for J3?
But I would think that your concern about you're not hearing much more is that whether or not it's just not necessarily being reported, either on the website or in the news. It doesn't necessarily mean that there is a drop in crime. Again, there's a difference between reported crime and actual crime.
Good point.
So that's the only thing I would like to see. And again, obviously, if there is an issue that we can support them in other ways as well, other than just financially again, with that.
Yeah, the media has a lot
What's
to
up,
cover
Jamel?
as well.
Good. How are you, buddy?
Great. Do we want to close on J3?
Yes, you can proceed. Sorry.
Okay.
To K.
Let's go to K. Commissioner Escontrias, any referrals?
No.
Commissioner Skiba?
No.
And I think for me, just what's been offered by the state in terms of a grant for school shooting prevention, better communication on social media, being more aware and funding the right sources to make sure we're all aware of what's going on. But that can be discussed in January and February for subcommittees and referrals to city council and the school district to look at after discussing with the representative I know at the state of California. Commissioner Carmichael, did you have any RTSs or referrals to staff?
No.
Wow.
You want to go to the Citizens Academy?
What's that?
You want to go to the Citizens Academy?
Second,
It's a big commitment. I understand.
I'm
It's okay.
going to the
It's okay.
Citizens Academy.
just
Yeah.
bring some chips
Wanted
and
to put the
salsa.
pressure on you while we're on film.
Yes, other than that, yeah, I really did mean to go. My daughter had emergency surgery, so I had to buffalo out for a little bit.
Hope everything went well.
Did.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's tough.
She just wanted attention, I say, but so long story short, no, nothing. Oh, actually, I do have one question. How did the Santa around town go?
The Santa sleigh.
Yes,
Thank you.
because you all tore
For
up my
caring.
neighborhood. I was sitting there, I'm on the
So
phone.
I sit in our union. So that's the police officers union
Yes,
that does that. We get help from the fire union, and it's all volunteer. We're not getting paid or anything. So I actually coordinate that, all 18 nights, the signups necessary, et cetera, et cetera. But first year in a while without a single rain delay.
true.
So we nailed
Yeah.
all 18 nights on the first try.
That's good.
Number two, I'm sorry. I didn't say that right. I wasn't bragging enough. Second straight year of no rain delay. My first year I had a rain delay, second year in a row that I haven't of my 3 years coordinating the Santa sleigh. It was a huge hit. Everyone still loves it. We do want to make a point to say that it's the police officers union and the firefighters union that put it on. Sometimes people just assume it's the police department, but it's the union, all volunteer on our own time doing that. And I love it because I
One
think
piece
I'm
of
basically
feedback.
Buddy the Elf.
Just one piece of feedback. Can we promote it a little bit more?
Yes.
Because I swear I thought there was an issue going on my street. And I wanted to look, and I look at my Ring camera. I'm like, oh, it's Santa.
It's pretty well known.
Yes.
We
I
send
thought that
it,
too.
Yeah,
no matter
it was
what.
like-
we send it every year through all the channels, and the city council sends it every year throughout. But inevitably, every year, somebody says, "Oh my gosh, I was having a heart attack," and it's the same thing that happened last year on the same day and the same time. And, So
Okay.
we do try our best to get it out there on all our social media platforms and Everbridge and all our channels.
Okay.
But yes,
All right.
if the 7 hours straight of sirens weren't enough.
It was crazy. Genuinely crazy. And I was like, I'm in a neighborhood.
Did you go down and take a picture?
I did after I realized what it was,
Very
but
good.
not beforehand.
It's a mobile coffee with.
Taking a little longer in recent years because I think the adults are getting a kick out of it too. And
we
everyone's
love it.
doing the iPhone picture thing.
Yeah,
So it takes
we
us a
love
little
it.
longer to get through the stops, but we usually, I think the latest night this year was 10, a little after 10.
Wow, that's pretty late, actually. It's a lot of
So,
hours.
but most of the people at the end of a route know that it's late and they'll jump right out of bed in their pajamas anyways and
Yeah, it's a good time.
they'll
It was
they'll
nice.
run
It
out
was
there to say
nice.
hello.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good time. We love
But
it.
we're still one of the only, at least that I know of in the area that goes every street still.
Every street.
Instead of just posting up a few nights at a park,
Yeah,
we go down pretty much every street in Redondo.
That's
Obviously
awesome.
we're not stopping on Pacific Coast Highway.
Oh,
Every
yeah.
25-mile-an-hour street, the
Yeah, you do.
miners. So.
Yeah. Yeah.
wonderful. Well, I call this meeting adjourned at 7:56 PM and happy holidays.
yay.
Happy holidays.
Happy